Yes! Good evening, my people. Hope everyone is well. It's a beautiful day today. Arsenal sitting pretty top of the league going into the World Cup. We're going to be top for Christmas. Christmas number one. It's never sounded so good. I got my guys to read Aussie Guna and Brenny. Let's get into the intro and then we're going to start this properly. Let's do it. Yes. Good evening. We're back. It's the Armoury TV. I got my guy Brenny. How you keeping, bruv?
I'm good. I'm very good, very good. It's been a
Big
very
smile
good
on your
day
face.
today. It's been day's been fantastic for me. I was watching my local team. They won the FA Vase Trophy today in the second round.
Wow.
So nice bit of grassroots football there, and then to concentrate on this evening. Fantastic day.
I hear that. And we got our guy Aussie Guna. It's a long time since I've met up with you on the reaction, all the way from down under. How are you feeling in the warmth?
Good
I
man.
must add.
Oh, you know what, mate? Like this week, the Manchester City result, now Arsenal, points clear, looking at the gap between our, United, Chelsea, this, that, all of the above. I'm feeling rosy. I'm feeling prime. I'm feeling kind of good.
It's a very different contrast to last season. There was good times, but you get 5, 6 good win, then you get the one blip, and even that we're always clawing, trying to catch up, isn't it? So you make
Yeah.
a bit of progress, you close the gap, and then one defeat, and you're like, freaking hell, it's 7 point gap again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now it feels different. It does feel strange because we're winning, and I'm thinking, how are teams still so close to us? But the
Mm.
beauty of it is, other teams still like they're going to drop points quicker than we drop points, and I think that's the big difference. We could get into that later, but let's talk about today's game. Before the game started, did you think it was going to be a bit more of an expansive game, or was you like me thinking Wolves kind of new manager in the stands? Defensively, they're quite strong anyway. So even though they've been obviously the bottom of the league, but they're not conceding much. I think Brighton put a few past them, but apart from that, they're not. They don't get beat heavily.
Mm.
So what was your thoughts going into the game, Aussie?
I thought they were going to go in there safe. They were going to sit back, and again, just like many a team have hit us on the counter. Players like Traore can expose you, which he did in this game. And I was expecting them to sit back. I was expecting us to have all the ball under the sun, the possession like you won't believe, all that, this and that. But the thing is, I was hoping we were going to be a bit more clinical in the first. I thought we'd break them in the first half. In my mind, I go, it's going to be 1-0 in the first half. Then they'll open up, and this game could go to 3. Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately,
Yeah.
the first half, we just can't take our chances. I think the possession stats were almost like, what was it, like 80-20 at one stage? Like, fucking horrible. It
Mm.
was like Mike Tyson versus Marvis Frazier all over again. It was bloody just in the corner getting the shit kicked out of you.
Mm.
But I was expecting us to win this game. I was expecting to be 1-0. I wanted 3. I thought we could get at Wolves because I thought they're not going to be able to nullify our attack, especially with the amount of possession we were going to have. And too bad it was 2, but happier to win.
That's it. What about you, Brenny? Was you expecting a little bit more in the first half from Arsenal?
Yeah, I was, and I did predict 3-0, and I thought, yeah, with what's been going on today, especially what happened at the Etihad, I thought, yeah, let's push on. But we just looked, we weren't even at our best today to even get a result, to be honest. So, but
Yeah.
we got the job done. But I thought there would have been a few goals today because we know, like you said, Wolves do not concede a lot, but then again, they're struggling to score goals. So that's what I predicted 3-0. So I thought we would get clean sheet today.
Yeah,
For
no, definitely.
What they got, they would. I just thought, yeah, man, they just. I didn't think they would even score today. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. However, during the game, it was a bit uncomfortable. I'll be honest. They did open us up a few times. I think they shocked Arteta. 'Cause I think if you heard his interview before the game, I think he was expecting them to maybe play a different formation and not with the two up front, with Traore being one of them. And you can see the problems he causes and why teams are frightened of him, but you can also see why he hasn't got an assist in, I think, 37 games. He does everything so well until the last moment, isn't it? And we did have to ride our luck a little bit. I think that's probably, if I'm honest, one of the biggest challenges we've had defensively. This is probably the least comfortable I've seen some of our players look at the back. You can look at the United game; they scored 3, and if you think back, United play similar to Wolves, but it's that threat of the pace, isn't it? On a ball in behind, and we play a high line. So did they trouble us a bit more than you think they should have? Like, it's 2-0. Does it look more comfortable than it actually was, Ozzy?
No, it was very comfortable. Seriously, they didn't really trouble us.
I don't.
The first half there was those maybe 1 or 2 chances across. There was second half there was a attempted bicycle kick. Traore doing what he always does. So Traore is always going to make the run. He's going to do everything, but no end product.
Yeah.
Neves takes a shot, 100 million pound man, top tier. I look at it, it's like, well, if that was Arsenal, we would say those are opportunities we've missed, right? We didn't really trouble them. But because that's Wolves, we look at it and say, oh, they troubled us. Not really. You got to think of it as a Wolverhampton supporter right now. Were you really on our back? Were you really pushing us? They're probably going to say, no, that wasn't good enough from our end. And that's the way I see it. I honestly, the mistake by Saliba didn't help. And I think the reason why they were having a bit more freedom was Zinchenko starting over Tierney. Now, I'm not saying Zinchenko is not great. I'm just saying Zinchenko defensively is woeful. I think Tierney would have been a better shout as a left back, but I understand why Zinchenko starts, so he can link up a little bit better. And to be honest, with Xhaka coming off and all that, it might have been a better idea to have Zinchenko in the middle of the park and Tierney on the left-hand side. But hey, what would I know? We still won this game 2-0.
Exactly that. What about you, Brenny? Do you feel you in agreement with Ozzy was more comfortable? Or for me, it's Wolves. If that was maybe a better opposition in them situations, would they have hurt us more? And we saw it against United. We dominated the game against United, a bit similar to today, but it was just they had a bit more quality on the counter than what Wolves had. So, what was you ever worried in that game, Brenny, or was you a bit more comfortable than me?
I mean, I wasn't as comfortable as, say, last week. That was very comfortable.
Yeah.
With the first half, I'm like, we've got to score at some point during the second half, and I'm thinking to myself, well, Wolves. I agree with Ozzy totally. The fact that for all of Traore's pace and whatnot, no end product, and no end product at all. So I wasn't worried about him. I wasn't worried about other players that they had on the pitch that could probably nick the odd goal, nick a goal or so. You know what I mean? So the second half, I thought it was more comfortable. After we went 1-0 up, I felt, felt a lot more comfortable. In fact, more so second half than first.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think second half we definitely controlled it more, and the football was a little bit better from us. It was a bit quicker. Took maybe a few more risks. I think the first half we were very safe. I think we were scared of turning the ball over out of possession because then you've got to track back 50 yards. So we had to take the handbrake off a little bit, and yeah, we've done the business. But let's get to some comments quickly. You got a fan in the house, Mr. Ozzy Guna. Luke Morrison saying he wants to see you on every watch along. There we go. He set the challenge, Ozzy. You can't let him down.
Got to get the job done now, eh? I'm going to have to get the job done regardless.
Yeah.
It's all for you, Luke.
Yeah, for real. And this is what it is for me. We control the rival fans for the next 6 weeks. And we've been trolling them for the last 14 weeks as well, to be fair. We've been set out there for a long time. So we can continue that for a few more weeks. It's beautiful. Christmas dinner is never going to taste so good, I'll be honest.
I swear, bro.
Pyro's Destiny's back in the building. Saw a lot of you last season. I haven't seen as much as you this season, Pyro, but I hope you're well, bruv. And yeah, it feels good to be at the top of the tree. Footmaster saying Ødegaard's his boy. I'm not going to repeat that, so I don't want to make a fool of myself. Madison scores. There you go. Brilliant. Princess of Maine is saying he can't tell us how happy he is right now. And yeah, he's just some happy Arsenal fans about it at the moment. And again, for me, it didn't matter how this win came today. It's about getting the job done. We've seen City drop points, and how many times in years gone by have teams drop points around us and we mess up. And this is the difference in the mentality of this team at the moment. They are just, doesn't matter what comes against them, they're finding a way to win. This is a good one, isn't it? 16 points clear of Chelsea, 5 of City. That one I'm not even reading too much into. But 16 points clear of Chelsea. It feels good, but you know City, you know what they could do in the second half of the season. But again, if we keep doing what we're doing, yeah, it comes down to them 2 games, really, and honestly, doesn't it? So,
end of the day, you slip up, you mess up. If we're there to take advantage of that, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, look, City we all know City are a great team, right? But they just slipped up and we haven't.
Yeah.
So, end of the day, spade is spade. We're top of the league for a reason. You know what I mean? I think we've been very convincing this season. I'm not saying, we're going to win the league and all that. But so far this season, I think we deserve to be where we are. I think every team that does face Arsenal at the moment is wondering, how are we going to get at them? And if we do get at them, how can we keep them out? Because I know once we go a goal down, it's like, oh, shit. It's like rattling a beehive, a hive's nest. You know what I mean? You just a bee's nest. You smack them, and all of a sudden they just come swarming at you. So it's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I just checked the league table as well. Even if United win tomorrow, we're 11 points clear of them. And they're in 5th place. So again, objective start of the year is top 4. Can we go and do more? I'm sure we're going to get into that in some other streams. There's plenty of conversation to be had around what we do in January, if the squad is deep enough to go all the way. But again, we'll leave that for another show. But let's talk about the first goal. Group chats were going off. Xhaka wasn't playing. We're not the same team. Blah, 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 blah. I heard a lot of it. You know my stance on him, and I was saying, just be patient because something will hopefully happen. And fair play to Vieira. Let's talk about Martinelli first. I think that was the important part. We needed to move teams out of their shape. And I speak a lot about this. Brendan, you'd hear me say it. We're very good at the passing side of things, but sometimes you need someone to be direct and beat a player, beat 2, and drag teams out of their shape. And Martinelli did it. And he went, and you think he could have passed it. He thought, I'm going to beat 1 more, 2 more. He stayed on the ball a little bit, and it just opened up a bit of space. And ball made its way to Jesus. Again, came in on the right. I'm probably shouting shoot, but he's seen a little cute pass to Vieira. The touch wasn't great, I'll be honest. I sort of watched it back this now. The touch wasn't great. And I think that made his mind up for him because from there, he could have shot really to first up it better. But the creativity of him, and sometimes that's why if you got a bit more of an attacking player in that area, he maybe has a bit more composure than some players in that area. It was a lovely little dink to the back post, and Ødegaard and Saka both come home in on it, didn't they? You see how much it meant. The way they both fought for that ball, it meant a lot. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on the goal? We'll go with you, Ozzy. What's your thoughts on that? Vieira's part of it, and do you think that will do him the world of good? We saw what happened to Reece Nelson after scoring 2 the other day. Do you think that will help Vieira? Because the last few games he has come under a bit of criticism from some of the Arsenal fans, and rightly so in my opinion. I don't think he's been great the last few games he's played.
I think it's going to help his confidence. Of course it will. I mean, in that first half and leading up to the goal, he was where? He was nowhere. He was really, you wouldn't even know he's on the pitch. It was like a disappearing act. But when it counts, when there's an opportunity, that pass from Jesus, bloody hell, that was a crisp pass. That was cheeky. And of course, I think you're right. When he got onto the ball, I thought, he's going to shoot. And he just straight across the front of goal. And Saka and Ødegaard, the way they've come in, they both look like they haven't eaten for days. It's like the food got put on the table and they've both gone for the same bloody plate at the same bloody time. But again, Fabio Vieira, that's going to help his confidence big time to get that ball in there. Honestly, he's been he has been scrutinized, and the reason is because he has had opportunities and he has played, he has started games, but he hasn't really given the manager a headache, a problem, saying, hey, look at me, you know what I mean? I could come in for Ødegaard, because he's supposed to be a creative spark. He's supposed to be Ødegaard's number 2 and or his competition. But right now, he hasn't really made a case for himself. But again, he's only just come to the squad, and I give him that. And for the time that he's been here, it's slow transition, but it's positive. An assist here, a goal there. I'd like to see more of it. But this for his confidence, this is great for him. At least this way he ends this sort of this Premier League season for now on a kind of a high. So when he comes back for the continuation of the Premier League, the season, he's going to be a bit boosted. We're going to see a bit more from him.
Definitely. And in terms of substitution, Brenny, how bold is it of Arteta to actually put him on? Because when Xhaka's gone down, first thoughts is probably El Nene. Second thoughts, and I know a few people said, even I was thinking it, maybe bring on Tierney and put Zinchenko in centre mid and leave Tierney left back. So how brave a decision. And again, a bit like the Reece Nelson one, where a few fans were calling for something different. Again, what we think is the right thing to do. And he's gone against it. He's gone with Vieira. Again, Wolves at that stage, first 10 minutes, didn't really pose a threat. So it was definitely a case of actually let's get 2 more attacking style midfielders on the pitch in Ødegaard and Vieira, who may be able to unlock something. But again, that 0-0 is how would you rate that decision? And it paid off in the end. And again, if it didn't, Arteta's now got egg on his face, hasn't he? So he's getting a lot of them correct. Don't you agree, Brenny?
He is. He's getting a lot of them correct. And I find it was a bold one, because when I looked at it, I thought surely he's got to bring Kieran Tierney on and move Zinchenko into the number 8. That's what I thought he was going to do. But swings and roundabouts, it paid off in the end, and the wonderful assist from Vieira for that first goal.
Yeah, definitely. And then after that, I think Ozzy said it earlier, he's very comfortable after the first goal went in. And again, they've got to open up a little bit more, a lot more spaces on the pitch to play. And we grabbed the second. Martinelli does what Martinelli does. First touch wasn't great, but just not letting the player out. And again, even I think at 1-0, that right back, I know he's only just come on the pitch, but sorry, at 0-0, he probably clears that out for a throw-in just to kind of have what we hold. But chasing the game, you take a bit more risk. So he's probably thinking, right, if I can get this to our player, we can maybe set up something. And Martinelli just robs him. Great little kind of back heel into Zinchenko. Zinchenko's tried to pick the pass. I think it's bounced back to Martinelli. He's had a shot. Keeper saves it. And then Ødegaard, instant touch and finish. You think it's easy, but Brenny, how hard do you feel that goal was to finish? Because he's trapped it and killed it within like one sweet movement. What's your thoughts on the second goal, Brenny?
It wasn't easy at all. For a strike like that, because I thought when it came to Ødegaard, I thought, is he gonna smack that? And I'm like, because I've seen, we all have, where I thought, as long as it bounces off the defender and just goes in, I'll just think it just shoot. But that was just so clean. It was just so, it's like he knew exactly where he was going to play that, It was a wonderful strike, far more satisfying than the first one, even though the build-up for the first one was great. So I mean, we wanted more goals from Ødegaard, and he's doing that now. So, it's a shame he's not going to the World Cup. He'll be fresh, and against West Ham, I expect him to do more, not just goals.
Definitely, and big Ødegaard. Can't call him promotion guy. Let's actually talk about Ødegaard a little bit, because he is our captain. He comes under a bit of scrutiny. Sometimes of maybe not doing enough in games. Today, I think he was outstanding, and not even for what he is meant to bring to the team in terms of his passing and opening up things. I think his work rate getting back this week. Normally we see him pressing high, which is always brilliant, but the amount of times he tracked, because Wolves do break at pace, and he was tracking back and making tackles on the edge of the box. And how important is people, and Jesus was the same. I see Jesus caught up with Adama one stage. Like, how important is it these guys and their work rate, Ozzy? Like, let's talk about Ødegaard. We talk about Jesus, let's talk about Ødegaard. And even if he's not having the most impressive game on the ball, his work rate off it, what is it kind of, that example it sets to the rest?
Well, so like you said, the work rate off the ball is what most people won't see. See, when it comes to a player like Ødegaard, everyone sees him as, oh, he's a number 10. He's going to score a goal or make an assist, right? That's great, because that's what everyone wants to see, right? But the defensive side of the game, everyone wants to leave that to the defenders. Everyone wants to leave that to the wing back or the centre back. You understand that everyone has a job when it comes defensively. So Ødegaard has his job defensively. Xhaka has his job defensively. Do you know what I mean? And seeing a player like Martin Ødegaard, who is supposed to be a number 10, come back and track back as far as like a number 8 would, and not get credit for it, kind of shits me a bit. I say, look, he's coming all the way back. Oh, but he's not assisting. Well, he can create 20-odd chances, but if no one's finishing their dinner, then no one sees them either. So this is the thing. This is the bad place that you are in when you're a 10. You create a dozen chances, and if no one finishes them, you had a shit game. You come back and defend, but because you're not a defender, no one's really looking at it, so you had a shit game. And we brought you in to assist. Well, we brought players in to finish. And that's the position that he's in. The number 10 role is, it's how can I say, you're sort of the sacrificial lamb in many cases. Because you're in the middle of the park, it's either, if I can't get an assist, I come back, I'm defending, and I'm pushing. And the rest of the teammates, I mean, look, you look at even Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira even tracked back in this game. He's the size of this bottle, but he tracked back. But that's going to come back to, wait a minute, if my number 10, my creative midfielder, is back here too, I'm back here as well. I think, to be honest, Ødegaard's performances do go under the radar. And it's only when he doesn't score or assist where it's like, oh, what did he do? Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's more to the game than just going forward. I'm very defensive minded, so I'll look at every player's movements, and especially in the defensive side. And Ødegaard in this game, he was back and forward like a box to box, but trying to play a number 10. You got to give that guy credit. You know what I mean? Right now, he played 2 positions, 8 and 10 in this game.
Yeah. And like you're saying, it rubs off on everybody else, and you can see the hard work from everybody. Martinelli, Saka. It's like you said, Vieira doing it, Jesus doing it. Like when I coach, I haven't been coaching much this year, but before, I remember when the boys were like under 14, under 15, and used to get something goes wrong. They would look at each other. They say to me, "Well, that's his man," or "He went high up the pitch and didn't get back." And my first thing is, if you see it, you do it, and then we address it. So right back might have gone bombing forward because the ball was on. The ball gets cut out. Actually, if he's gone past the right winger, it doesn't mean you stand still and say, well, I'm the right winger, he's the right back, he's got to get back. No, you get back there, you deal with the matter, and then you can say, wait, don't do that again unless we're in good possession on the ball. Don't just bomb. We can address it. So, and that's what I'm seeing from these guys. There was times where Jesus dropped in to maybe get the ball, it didn't work out, and then Dave broke, and he's just like, all right, cool, I'll go. I'm deeper than Vieira, I'm deeper than Ødegaard, I'll go. And do you know what I mean? Makes the tackle, just gets bodies back and just crowds teams out. So the work rate is amazing from the boys, and yeah, long may it continue. And I think when we speak about Arteta, when he first come in, he said about the culture of the club. I cannot remember who it was. It was Wiltshire. Did anyone hear Wiltshire's interview on TalkSport the other day? If not, I'm going to send it over. He said he's never seen such intensity in training at Arsenal for all his times, and under Wenger, he said he's never seen the intensity like this. And this is a new culture of the club, isn't it? It's out with the old, it's in with the new. And anyone coming into this now, this is the standard we're setting. And I expect any player, and that's what you said with Vieira, he's probably come in luxury role at Porto. Do you know what I mean? Just playing football very nice. And now you're coming in here, you've got to do both sides. And this is the modern game football, isn't it? There's no more 10s like your Ozils. Do you know what I mean? It is more. They're more 8s, aren't they now?
Yeah. You can't have that one player who's like. I said it with Aubameyang, a great player, right? But if the ball doesn't drop right in front of him, then what does he bring you?
Yeah.
Ask Chelsea now, and we have all known this though. We all knew this. But in this sort of, when they say, oh, but the link-up play and this and that, it's not, Jesus isn't only about link-up play. It's like, no, he's not, but he brings that. You got to bring more to your game. You can't just be one-dimensional footballer. Number 10, passing. 9, he can score. All he can do is score. A 9 nowadays has to score crazy amount of goals for him to get the credit that he's due. Look at Ivan Toney, right? Look where he should be right now, and he's not. He hasn't been given the credit. There needs to be more to the game. So I think every player on the pitch, whether it be Ben White playing number 2, remember he was supposed to be a centre back, but right now I look at Ben White and say his preferred position is probably the number 2. I mean, you see Zinchenko playing almost in the middle of the park or left back. Every player is like 2 or 3 dimensional now. That's what makes Arsenal more of a unit, more of a team. It's not just, 100%. Oh, I'm the number 8. I can move from here to here, and that's it. It's unpredictable. Very hard to track a player who can be anywhere, anytime, who can cover his man when he makes a run. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And you've just called in Zinchenko, and I think there's a question from Luke. We're going to get to that in a second, Luke. So don't worry, we will get to your question. But in terms of Zinchenko, done quite well again today, I thought. You can see why he played. Maybe got a bit tired towards the end.
Yeah.
Tierney didn't come on, and Cedric did. Obviously likes this inverted left fullback, hence why Tomiyasu starts in front of Tierney when Zinchenko is injured. And even coming off the bench, Cedric's now his preferred option. And that's 2 weeks in a row. Cedric's come on before Tierney. I was desperately trying to watch at the end of the game when the players were walking out clapping to see if I could see Tierney. Couldn't really spot him. So I'm not going to say he wasn't out there clapping the fans or whatever. You could clearly see Marquinhos and a few others, but you couldn't see Tierney. Do you feel if he can't adapt to this new way of playing, he's going to struggle to get minutes in this team? And I know we spoke about it before, Brenny, but I will get your take on it. But Ozzy, we're going to come to you first because it's the first time I've actually listened to the question. What now for Tierney?
Look, in my mind, Tierney is our best option at left back. I like a left back to play left back, to be defensive minded. Yes, he can go forward, but to solidify defense. Zinchenko had an okay game, but we were exposed on that side. Gumsa, honestly, where were they more fluent? On his side. They were. He slipped, he bobbled. He's not a great left back. I see Arteta, I know he likes his his inverted wing back, but you have to understand, I think that position allows a two-dimensional style of Arsenal. You bring Tierney on in a team that can bomb down the left. Like you can bring Tierney on a team that's got strong wingers, a guy that you want to stop. You want him as a stopper. An option going forward, but a guy who can always defend. You're not going to put Zinchenko on up against a team that's going to have a great winger, even against like a player like Zaha or even Salah. You wouldn't want to put Zinchenko up against Salah. You'd get destroyed. I think Tierney can adapt, but I don't want him to change too much from the player that he is, because sometimes you want your left back to be a left back.
So do you think it's more of a case of? Do you think it's more of a case of? Sorry to jump in. Do you think it's more of a case of then when we're playing a game where we feel we're going to dominate possession? So most games we're seeing this season, we're coming out there as the stronger team. We're coming out. We're going to play our football. It's a Zinchenko. But if we come up against, just say Champions League next year, we're playing against Real Madrid, or you're playing your cities, you're playing them teams who are going to match us for possession or maybe dominate possession. Yeah. And actually, we need to see this game out. Do you think that's when we then call upon Tierney?
Yeah.
How do you feel Tierney reacts to that? Because let's be honest, 80% of our games then we're going to be playing with Zinchenko and not Tierney.
Not necessarily. Both players are injury prone.
True.
Both players are very injury prone. So I think the position of left back, you put them both into the offense to say fight for it. Zinchenko, if you show me you can defend, then maybe you're going to be my left back because you can also bomb forward. Tierney, if you can show me you can go forward, then maybe you're going to be my left back. You both have something to work on. Go work.
Okay. I like your take on it. And do you know what I like about, even though I know your preference in left back, yours is Tierney, you're still under the impression, and this is what Arsenal have lost for a long time, is you've got to fight for your position. It's not guaranteed. Tierney's been probably one of our best performers for the last 3 seasons. We've seen the drop-off when he gets injured. To think now let's be honest, he's 4th choice at left back, because we're seeing Zinchenko first, Tomiyasu second, Cedric third. then Tierney. Like, I know he's starting in Europe in the left back position, but in these league games, he's not coming on in front of Cedric, and Tomiyasu was starting in front of him. So it is you've got to work. And as much as it's not nice to see Tierney, because I think everyone has a soft spot for Kieran Tierney, it's the culture you want around the club where no one's going to be handed a shirt. You've got to grab your shirt and you've got to fight for it. Again, Tomiyasu couldn't do no wrong. Ben White's gone out there, and we haven't seen Tomiyasu started right back in the league all season. Ben White's not giving up the shirt. So it's a nice culture. But Brenny, about yourself, I know we spoke about it briefly last week, but are you starting to get a bit more worried for Tierney now, or is it again the case of you got to fight for your shirt, Tierney, show why you deserve to get in front of Cedric and Tomiyasu, and then Zinchenko?
No, I mean, I still feel the same, but just to add as well, it's just keep him pressing and training. It's all you can do. It's all you can do. I mean, I still feel that he's in Arteta's plans because Arteta knows, and we all know. If you look at it, I look at the left back position. That is probably the strongest position we have right now at a club. You could play either one of them. You could play either one of them. And the way Ozzy just broke it down there with the two of them, that was a great analogy. And I'm happy with if I see either one of them, I'm very happy with. But I've said already, I do not want to see Tomiyasu at left back. I don't want to see Cedric at left back. I'd rather see those two at right back. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm happy with the two left backs we got. I'm sure most sides would want those two left backs that we got. So yeah,
I would go on record and say we've probably got two of the, like, if you look at left back position, we've probably got the strongest left back position. On paper, Chelsea's ain't bad with Cucurella and Ben Chilwell, but Chilwell's always injured, and Cucurella hasn't had a great start to his Chelsea career. But definitely
he's been having a hard time.
Yeah, but definitely in terms of the rest, I think we've probably got the strongest left back position at the moment. People would say Robertson and Tsimikas, but I think the drop off between Robertson and Tsimikas is bigger than our drop off between Zinchenko and Tierney. So yeah, love it. Hold on, we got Silver Fox. Am I calling you out? Yeah, get on the stream
all the time. All the time. Get in. Are you calling me out? You got to ask for a freaking invitation. Jump in. We're waiting for you.
You get in here, Tony. I know you're walking home from work, but you feel free to jump on when you're ready. You also join us on Discord. So yeah, we've Armoury TV is now on Discord. I don't know how to work this out, but I'm on there. So you're going to see me making a fool of myself. But there'll be a few of us on there. Obviously, come on, have some conversations with us. I'm not sure how the app works, but I'm sure we'll get to grips with it in the meantime. Let's get to this question from Luke Morrison. Sorry, guys, before we get to this question, make sure you keep smashing the likes, keep throwing your comments in. I'm here for a while today. Normally we look to do half an hour streams, but it's the last I forgot what it's called now. The last reaction show.
You don't even care. You got 3 points. You're top of the league. You don't know where the hell you are, but you know where you are. On the table. That's all that
matters. So yeah, so we're going to be here for a little while. So throw your questions in. We will try and get through to as many as possible. So yeah, penalty in the first half. During the game, nothing much was said of it, but at half time, a few of the commentators were saying they think they should have had a penalty. What's your thoughts on it? I only really saw it once or twice. I ran out at half time.
They're showing it again, playing up on Sky Sports News. Just showing it just now again.
Yeah.
I actually thought in the build up to that, I thought there was an offside.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just thought. Yeah. I said, no, there's an offside there, surely. But yeah, if but I mean, yeah, I would look. I'm just looking at it now, and it looked offside. So for me, it's not a penalty.
Yeah, but you know this is Arsenal, so the referees would have said that's another phase of play. We can't go back that far like they did against what team was it? It was Leeds, was it? It was Leeds, wasn't it? Where the guy was offside. And then they got the penalty, and he was like, "Oh, it's a different phase of play and all of that malarkey." But what about you, Ozzy? Like I said, it looked like for me at first Saliba won the ball, and then the guy went over. But then when you watched it back, the guy hit the ball behind him. Saliba, it was a bit not clumsy, but it was a coming together, wasn't it? I don't think it's a penalty personally.
But you know what it is? What is the penalty? This is my problem. Like everyone goes, "Was it a penalty?" Give me a definition of a penalty. Because
contact
nowadays
doesn't always mean penalty, does it? That's what we mean. Contact doesn't always mean a penalty.
That's the thing. It's like it's contact in the box, and if it's leading it's like, well, I've seen plenty of contact in a box that wasn't a penalty, and then I see someone pulling a shirt, and then the guy goes down. That's a pen. I saw Kevin De Bruyne last week. Was that a penalty, guys?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I think a penalty. I think the one thing they have to work on is what is a penalty. Not there's so many different ways we can look at it. In my mind, it looks soft, but I'm a hard kind of bloke. If you're going to go down in the box, you're going down for a good reason, not because a friggin' a slight breeze has hit you and you've decided to dive, because that's what City players were doing in that game just a few minutes ago, diving all over the place.
You saw Cancelo, didn't he, get pulled up on one where he's gone down, no contact at all. But
De Bruyne as well, same thing. He jumps, he just dives. I think, look, in my mind, no. Yeah. I think my mind at the moment, no. I think it was a bit soft. They didn't give it a pen. It is what it is. I don't look, whenever a penalty is given against us, I say, that's it. I'm not going to argue with the ref, because George Graham said it, Arsene Wenger said it. We all know what they said about the referees. We all know about that. And Arsenal fans have known this. I've known it for donkeys. So when a referee calls a pen, I just wear it and say it is. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't argue it. You can't. Yeah.
I hear that. Luke's on the money today. 8 away games. We've won 6, drawn 1, lost 1. Only conceded 4 in those 8 games, and I think 3 of those were against United. Our away form this year has been unbelievable. Best away form in the league. And as you see there, that means I think 6 of them games we've kept clean sheets in. We lost to United 3-1, wasn't it? So there's 3 in United game and 1 other game. Can't remember which one. Maybe Villa or some. Was Villa at Emirates? Can't remember, but doesn't matter. 6 games, 6 clean sheets away from home out of 8. How important is this away form to keep the momentum going?
Very important. I mean, it's not, because over the years, even under Arsene Wenger, the away form used to be our Achilles heel.
Yep.
We'd be strong at home, very strong at home, regardless of who we were playing years ago. And then in the away games, regardless of who we played, we struggled. And that is always important to win, to get results away from home, especially if you're going for the title.
Yeah, definitely. And do you think the formula we're playing with has a lot to do with this away form? Because if you look what we're doing, we go away from home, we're just getting hold of the ball, we're keeping it, and first thing we're doing is we're going to silence your crowd, and then we're going to start building. Yes, we've scored some early goals in some games, but even when we haven't, like today's game, we didn't score early, but we're just silencing the crowd. And it's just, I know it's a slower game. Do you know what I mean? We're sitting at halftime thinking we're not doing much, but do you think this is all part of the process of, if we don't give the ball away, they can't score, their fans are going to get frustrated. We know we can step up a notch or 2 when we need to. We've got the back line to keep it tight. Let's just control the game. And again, it's what we're doing. I'm seeing teams around us winning, but they're not controlling the game. We are. So we're not scoring much. We're not creating as much as I would like to see, but we are controlling the game. Chelsea, we controlled that game. They didn't. Ramsdale didn't. I think he had 1 shot on target. Like, away from home, that, do you know what I mean? It's that element of what we're seeing. It's different, isn't it? Like, have you ever seen a team control away games like this, Aussie, and silence the crowd? We're going to some big atmospheres. Chelsea's a London derby, and do you think this is a lot to do with the new regime and how we're playing and this great away run we're on?
Well, the way we're playing is like Manchester City. We are, and a lot of, and I'm not saying we are Manchester City, but we're playing the same style of football. Possession, making our chances, cutting in. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much like Pep Guardiola's style. The difference is at the moment we're doing it better. And I know it's like, but wait a minute, no, we are. We're top of the league, so we are doing it better. And it is important. You're right. When you have 2 teams coming off at the kickoff, right? The crowd's up for it. The away crowd's up for it. They're spurring on their team. 20 minutes where they can't touch the ball. Levels go down. Levels go down. That's like, now we turn the screw. Now we grind on your players. Now the crowd can't get behind their respective team because they're feeling like, well, what are they doing? They're getting a bit agitated. And the players also got their heads down because it's like, well, when we get the ball, they're more worried about what's going to happen when we lose it. Against Chelsea, you look at those players. they were going forward, but at the same time, in the back of their minds, like, if we lose this ball, what are we going to have to deal with? And you could see it playing on the back of their mind because we break quick.
Yeah.
You know, when we recover a ball, it's a quick break through the midfield, down the flanks, and it's on. And against Chelsea, there were two or three moments. I mean, one moment for Jesus and that header, you saw that build-up play. That was that was from our box. It was one flick passing, Wenger-esque football, and all of a sudden Chelsea have gone from a phase of attack into shit, defend for your lives, and that's what teams are seeing. And if we continue to hold on to the ball 20, 30 minutes of the game, even if it's in the first half, you destroy the fans friggin' their energy, and also that's going to push onto the team that we're playing. Of course, it's gonna have a great impact on the game. And again, Manchester City do that very well. We're doing it very well. It will be good to see these two teams go toe to toe.
I can't wait for that one. And I'm going to think back to a game I went to last season at the Emirates. I went to the Brighton game where Lallana had a masterclass.
You went to that one?
Yeah, I went to that one. I spent £80
No, bro.
I was not happy. But I'm just thinking back to what we were saying about silencing the crowd. And I'll never forget it, the murmurs at that stadium, because Brighton just kept their foot on our necks and we couldn't string anything together. And there's nothing more frustrating as a fan when your team's getting the ball given away, You can't string anything together. And that's what the Chelsea game was like last week. We were like, almost like python, snakes, cobras. You know, when they wrap their body around and just squeeze the life. At one stage, Chelsea were just getting the ball and just clipping it to our centre backs, and we were just coming again. They win the ball back. They can't put it together, so we just hook it up the line, and Saliba and Gabriel bring it back again. And the difference I think Saliba's made, and with Ben White on the right, like whatever it is in that back four, before we were so scared of what could go in behind us, we didn't really press high, because it was like, if we press too high and we get caught, we're going to get counted on. They're going to kill us. Whereas now it's like, actually, I can go and squeeze there, because if you bypass me, you got those giants to deal with at the back. Do you know what I mean? We've got three centre backs there sometimes four, and Tomiyasu plays on the left. Like, it's completely different. And this is what Jafar Salim's saying. What amazes me more is when you look at City defence, they look a bit shaky. Whereas Arsenal, we look comfortable with or without the ball. And we've got that solid platform to build off. And what a difference it makes. Like, we have conversations about, to attack and be fluent in attack, your back needs to be solid, because we are a team. We're not individuals where all it is about me scoring 100 goals. So if I'm not sure of the back, I'm not going to give 110 that way, because we could leak that side. So having that solid foundation starts everything off, doesn't it? And let's talk a bit about Gabriel, because I think he's come under a lot of stick recently. He had one air ball, but for me, I think he was brilliant today.
Saved Saliba's ass.
Yeah, he saved Saliba a few times today, actually. Gabriel, do you feel he's kind of maybe turned the corner? I think the Leeds game was, and he needed that mistake in the Leeds game where he almost gave away the penalty, got sent off, was allowed back on. Since then, he hasn't made the glaring mistakes what we were seeing before that. Before that, a few of the goals were going in. It was always on his side. Since then, I can't think of a big mistake he's made. So do you think he needed that game to make him almost shake his boots and say, actually, got to get my head back on it? Like, I could have cost us that game. How impressed were you with him today, Brenny?
I was very impressed with him today. You know what? He's you're right. Ever since that Leeds game, he has turned the corner, in my opinion. And he's probably, from a personal point of view, he's probably looking at, thinking, you know what, I want to keep my place next to Saliba, because Saliba's not going to get dropped anytime soon. So he's probably thinking, you know what, I've really got to step up these performances and cut out mistakes, as long as they haven't been. I mean, like today, it wasn't costly, but that one blip he had. But other than that, I thought he was solid. But he'd be thinking. I know in the back of his mind, he'd be thinking, you know what, Ben's probably going to want that centre half position, because you've got the likes of Tomiyasu, who obviously wants to start the game more regularly, right back. So because I thought a few weeks ago I was actually talking about a White Saliba partnership. But
I was with you on that.
You know what I mean? I was thinking that, but you know what? Ben White's been fantastic as a at right back right now, and I think Gabriel has taken this opportunity, you know, and he's taking it with both hands. And also because he missed out on the World Cup squad, he's
Yeah.
gonna want to show. He's gonna want to show. He's gonna want to show the Brazilian Association. Well, hey, you should have taken me. But that benefits us. Him not going to the World Cup. So yeah, no, I'm very happy with performance today and performances.
Very good. What about you, Ozzy, and on Gabriel?
I think Gabriel, he has made some horrible mistakes recent times. But I think I look at Gabriel and I think to myself, he's not going to be under threat by Ben White. And the reason why is because when you've got a back line, right? The back line for me is one of the most important things. I played two, right? So the back line for me is your last line. It starts from us, it ends with us. You know what I mean? So Ben White now, I'm telling you, he's the number two. He's not getting out of that position to sit centre back at all. Arteta will never want to disrupt his back line that much. I think Gabriel's got more problems with Tomiyasu playing his position. And Tomiyasu is a tall player. Tomiyasu does not miss a header. Tomiyasu has played on the left, right? So Gabriel's looking and going, well, Tierney lost his position. Why can't I? That's right. Why can't you? And that's the pressure I like. It's like everyone's got problems in this team. It's like I need to make a case for myself in this 11 because if I keep stuffing up, I'm going to be sitting on the bench. And in this game, I think Gabriel was great. He saved Saliba's ass. He covered Saliba. And when Saliba covers Gabriel, everyone will mention it. Yeah. I like that. But I want the same energy when Gabriel covers Saliba because there has been a few times where Gabriel has covered Saliba and everyone's like, yeah, Gabriel covered Saliba. So, whoa, wait a minute. Because he's having a hard time, do we not just praise him for that? Because he's not the worst centre-back out there, but he has had a few games that's been a bit ordinary. But he also has saved Starboy's ass 2 or 3 times, and I've seen that. So, and in this game as well, that mistake by Saliba was a goal. Gabriel gets a leg to it. We all know that that could have been going in. So we got to give Gabriel a bit of credit. And what I think the other thing is him not getting picked up for the Brazil squad's just going to be like, yeah, fine. Check this out. It's more of a push for him to show what he could do. And in this game, I think he was solid. I actually think he was great in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, just go back to an earlier point. We spoke about the away goals we conceded. The comment section, as always come with the proper facts. You know,
that's right. I was thinking
historian. It was Southampton when we drew 1-0. The pigeon distracted Ramsdale. I saw the video that I couldn't believe it. The little pigeon popped on the pitch. You not seen it, Ozzy?
I saw that. He was just doing this. The fuck you looking at? It's like balloons. It's like, why do you care?
He's obviously one for nature, Ramsdale. Silver Fox is putting the Christmas tree, the Arsenal crest on top of the Christmas tree this year. Top is where we belong on everything.
That's that's funny. That's the formation that Tottenham played not long ago. Now the star is Arsenal on top.
Guys, just make sure we keep smashing them lights, people. But before we wrap up here, we're gonna get into some player ratings, and we'll see if any more questions come in afterwards. So yeah, let's get through some player ratings. We take one per person. Ozzy, obviously you haven't been on the reaction show of us. Cool. So I'll go first. I'll go Ramsdale. I'm going to give him an 8 today. I think he had a lot more to do than we've seen in recent weeks. There was one free, I think it was the free kick. The guy smashed it across, like, I can't remember. I think it was the free kick on the edge of the box when Gabriel gave it away, and he's put it in flat.
And he just
really hard, and he's just laid down on it. Like, if that pops out, there's runners coming across him, there's runners in the box, and he's laid on it, he's held it. And when I've seen some of the goals gone in recently, I think De Gea's made a couple, he's pushed it into players. He's another one. So Ramsdale for me, kicking was good, organised at the back. He had a good few crosses to deal with. His braver and Traore came at him and he held on to it. So I'll give him an 8 today. It's a bit more action than we've seen in recent weeks. And another clean sheet for him. Ozzy Guna, you got Ben White.
Match it. I'd give him an 8 all day. For his performance in this game, 8 all day.
Nice.
Tracking back, recovering the ball, supporting Saka, switching up play. I think Ben White as a number 2, we found We finally found a player who can play number 2 well. It's been a long time. You know what I mean? We had Hector
Let's
Ballerina
not
for a
forget
while.
Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu was good. Tomiyasu was very good last year.
Look at the problem we've got, because I rate Tomiyasu highly, right? But what a good problem to have at right back. What a good problem to have at left back. What a good problem to have at Arsenal right now. But Ben White in this game, I'd have to match that. Took care of his man. I don't think he was caught out at any time. I think they weren't even trying to go down the right because they knew they wouldn't have a chance, and they were just focusing on the left. And I think that's because of what Ben White has done in the last 6 to 7 games. He's been solid. You know what I mean? I used to notice the ball over the top, to expose Ben White, but that's not working anymore.
To Bellerin. That ball used to be, they used to drive me insane. But let's talk about that pass as well. That was crossfield pass to Jesus. Completely. What a ball that was. And it was unfortunate. The pass to Ødegaard was very, very almost come off. Do you know what I mean? Good defending. So, yeah, I think at 8 it's a good score for White. I'm not going to argue with that one. Inside him, we had Saliba, Brenny.
Saliba, he gets a 7 today. He was okay, but I mean, it wasn't his best game today, but still a part of the clean sheet. And I think Gabriel was better than him today. To be honest, I don't know if he was thinking World Cup or what, but hey, wasn't one of his best games. But you know what, he's been fantastic for us this season. He'll have games like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and just funny, we're saying he wasn't great, blah blah, but we're still scoring a 7. We've got a clean sheet. Do you know what I mean? And you can see the difference in how we score now. Yeah. Like we're almost expecting brilliance from these guys. So yeah, 7 is it's a good score still. I'll take his partner Gabriel. I'll give him a 9 today. Again, he's come under some criticism, and it's how you respond sometimes. Everyone's allowed a bad game, aren't they? It's how you respond. And as I said, since that Leeds game, for me, he has been the better of the 2 in every game since then. Everyone's still obviously seeing Starboy, and I'm not against it. Starboy's been brilliant, but I think people are underestimating what Gabriel's done the last few weeks. So yeah, I'll give him an 8 today. No, that's a 9, didn't I? Yeah, we give Gabriel 9,
bro. You just took away a point. What are you doing here, man?
No, sorry about that.
Ripping this guy off. He's like, I'll give him an 8.
No, we'll give him a 9. He's done well today. Next to him, I don't want to give you Zinchenko, but he is Aussie Guna.
I wanted it. 6.
Ooh.
And because I watched him like a hawk. Going forward, great. Losing the ball in dangerous positions. Losing his man a few times. Falling on his ass on the left-hand side against Traoré. Defensively, not solid. He is a left back. So I'm going to judge him not as a midfielder, but as a left back. And as a left back, 6 is being nice. So I'd have to give him a 6. Our left-hand side was our weak point because of a few of his mistakes and because he isn't defensively solid. This is where Tierney, as a left back, would have been better. That loss of the ball in the middle of the park, it was lost too easy. It was weak. For him to lose his footing again, because I've seen this happen before, okay, with Zinchenko, previous game, Chelsea, lost his footing a few times, lost his footing here as well. Check out your blades, bro, because I don't want to see my defenders falling over themselves. So I can only give him a 6 in this game.
Right enough. And Luke's kind of with you. He says Zinchenko wasn't good. If it wasn't for his part in the second goal, he'd give him a 4.
Yeah. That's the reason why he's up there. That's the reason why I'm giving him a 6.
You do know he's still part of the back line that got a clean sheet, though, isn't it? Like you got to give it.
I understand that, but it wasn't because of his performances. If I had Tierney back there, I wouldn't even have been worried about anyone scoring a goal. He was my weak point. None of my defenders were weak, bro. Come on, man.
I hear that. Brenny, you've got Thomas Partey.
Oh, that's easy.
Well, I actually thought he was brilliant today. I think I only once I just see him lose possession, and I just love the way he fights for that ball. You know, I'm giving him an 8 today. That guy is just wow.
He's quality. Did you hear what did you hear the interviews afterwards with Ramsdale and
no?
I think Ramsdale Ødegaard was in the interview, and the pundit whoever was answering the question, what was the tactical difference? What did Arteta say to you to do in the end of the first half to make you play better? And he was like, he obviously didn't want to give away the tactics, but he said, play quicker, and he said, and just give the ball to Partey more. Make sure you keep getting Partey on the ball, and that just simplifies what that guy does for us. Is every time just get Partey on the ball and let him start it. And again, the second goal come from his ball over to Martinelli. Yes, it took a lot of work after that, but again, it's just that got us forward 30 yards. Do you know what I mean? So, and it was accurate because it wasn't like Martinelli was open, the right back was there. It was almost like a quarterback throwing it, wasn't it? Where it was just accuracy. So, yeah, Partey's been brilliant. And yeah, I'm not got nothing else to say about him. We're not going to score Granit. He wasn't on the pitch long enough, so for me, he doesn't deserve to be scored. But we will score Vieira now, even though he came off. I'll give him a 7. Didn't see much of him, but when he did pop up, it was vital, and that's what you want from that role. Again, I'm not being harsh with Xhaka. When people say we see a different Xhaka, I'm like, maybe not, because Xhaka's role now is to do something in that final third, and it's not going to happen every time you get the ball. Teams are playing defensive. We got to pick the moments, and at the right moment when we did get in behind, we've had players in the past who get in them positions. Iwobi, I used to love Iwobi, but we're getting that position a lot and not pick out the right pass. So to do that at the right time at 0-0, it's very easy when you're winning 3-0 to pick the right pass, isn't it? But at 0-0 when the pressure's on, you want to make a difference. You might shoot from a bad angle, whereas he made the right choice. So I'll give him a 7. And I think after that goal, you saw the confidence start to come in. You start getting on the ball a bit more. So I'll give him a 7. Ozzy, we move down to you. Then you have you get we'll give you a nice one this time, guard.
Okay, so Martin Ødegaard, and nobody can complain about this. 10 out of 10 performance in this game. Man of the match in this game. I think defensively, I think going forward, I think breaking up play. This guy was everywhere. He was like a rash. Seriously, if he wasn't scoring goals, he was opening up play. If he wasn't opening up play, he was down there defending. He was in the trenches, you know what I mean? Constantly. But then out of nowhere, you'd see him forward, linking up with Jesus, trying to get a goal, on a run. It's like, where did Ødegaard come from? He's on the right-hand side, and there's a winger all of a sudden. He was everywhere. And most people say, we didn't see Ødegaard. You could not, honestly, if you were watching this game, he was everywhere. He was the only player you could watch because he wasn't stopping. I think Ødegaard's performance today was stellar, and I think 10 out of 10 for me. No 9.5, none of that. I think 10 out of 10 for me.
Fair play. Brenny, we move on to the right-hand side. You got Bukayo Saka.
I'm giving him, I'd say 7.5 today. I thought he did well today, but it's I thought he was. I just thought he, it was. I mean, he was unfortunate with one effort that he had. Well, he tried to put the ball into the towards the 6-yard box, and it deflected off of the defender, and the keeper had to make a save. But yeah, I thought he was better last week against Chelsea. Yeah. It wasn't good by no means, but yeah. Actually, you know what? 7.5 because he was still full of running, and you know what I mean. And I like that he's just a thorn in this back side. So yeah, he wasn't better than Martinelli today, but yeah, I'll say 7.5.
Yeah, I think with him, I feel this was a game he needed a bit more help from Ben White overlapping him. In the first half, I was talking to a friend, and I was like, Ben White needs to get around him. And then 30 seconds later, Saka got the ball, and Ben White ran around him, and he fed Ben White, and he crossed it, and it was a dangerous cross from White. And they play a 5 at the back. The left back was just with Saka the whole game. So there wasn't much space on the side, and he was trying to come inside. But if you come inside there, the other centre back's coming out to come and clean up. So he almost needed someone to run in behind him. And it could be Ødegaard or it could be Ben White, just to take the other centre-back away a bit, which gives him a bit more room to operate. So as much as people be like he was ineffective today, actually, for me, he was still facing up his wing-back, sorry. And again, you look at the Pepe days, the boys to come into Pepe, and the guy was touch tight, and he's going backwards every time. At least Saka is facing forward. Let me see if I can get something out of you. If it's not on, right, I'll keep possession ticking, but if there's a bit of space, I will try and go at you, or I'll give a forward pass. So as much as, yes, he might not have as much take-ons as normal, actually that's still an important role because we're now playing forward 10 yards higher than him passing the ball back to the centre back or to the right back. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's those little things people do miss sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not always easy being a winger when you've got a wing back coming tight to you for you to get turned. It's not the easiest thing to do. You get a lot of kicks in your Achilles, and yeah, it's not a nice position. So yeah, I agree with you on Saka. Wasn't the worst. It wasn't a bad performance, and I think Martinelli. I've got him next. I think he was quiet in the first half, but second half come to the party. And again, I've mentioned it. That run he did was the all important run for me. That opened up all the space on the pitch, which we were struggling to do for 60 minutes before that. So just for that, taking the game by the scruff of the neck and making something happen, I'll give him an 8. And again, he was involved with the second goal as well. That hard work. Actually, I'm gonna give him 8.5 because, again, at 1-0, he could think, the ball's play's gone. Just let him kick up the line. We're recycle possession. No, I'm still going at you 110%.
Rip up the man.
Yeah, and then a little back heel, and then even after the back heel, he then got on the end of the cross and got the shot in, didn't he? So yeah, we'll give him an 8.5. Well done to Martinelli, and they're the moments, isn't it, where you make a difference. So yeah, 8.5 for him. Ozzy, you've got Jesus.
Yeah, I think Jesus in this game missed a few opportunities. That look, don't get me wrong, I'm getting the shits with him missing opportunities, but he didn't have a bad game. His link-up play was good. He was still running at players. He was still asking questions. The pass to Fabio Vieira was just magic. Like, that was a wonderful pass. I know it's only a little dink, but it's not. That is tight to get that pass. In my mind, I think Jesus gets a 7.5 today. I think I'm matching with Saka. I wouldn't give him an 8. I think Martinelli had a better game than him. If Jesus had got a goal today, as well as that play, he would have been up there in the 9s all day. But that goal is missing, and I think that's really starting to tear up on him a bit. So I don't know.
I hope areas I feel he could shoot. He's just taking one extra touch, isn't he, or trying to force a pass. So yeah, it will come. But as I said, still very happy with what he's producing. And again, I think if all the others keep chipping in, then it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if we as a club he scores 40 goals, or if the club scores 40. If we keep winning and he's contributing the way he is, it's not an Aubameyang striker, isn't it? Where you almost feel you're a man down at the moment because he's not offering nothing and he's not scoring. He's offering an awful lot still. So
exactly. And that's the thing with Arsenal now. We're not one-dimensional. We don't have guys like this is one off. But when was the last time you saw goals coming from the midfield at Arsenal?
No,
you don't.
Sensi Cazorla, maybe days. Maybe
Ramsey. He was the last goal scoring midfielder for me.
Yeah, but his goals were few and far between.
Yeah, he had that one season where he scored a lot, didn't he? Was it 15 plus maybe one season? Yeah.
We've got Partey on the score sheet. We've got Xhaka on the score sheet. We've got Ødegaard on the score sheet. We've got Fabio Vieira on the score sheet. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you got your wingers scoring goals. You got your defenders
scoring to come back. I was just having this conversation. Someone said, "Where do you see him fitting in?" I said, "He's not going to be a starter, but he's going to be the first sub." For me, he can play the advanced 8. He could play the 10. He could play on the flank. So whoever's not producing, and I don't think Arteta's going to be as scared to bring him on as he is with somebody others. You can see he's a bit delayed with your Nelsons, your Vieiras, whereas I think ESR, he comes on 55, 60 if it's not going correct. Like, it's not even a hesitation. This guy's going to bring quality. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And if he can chip in with goals like he did last season, again, that's another avenue of importance for us. So we're looking good. I'm not going to rate the other substitutes. They only came on for the last brief minutes.
They were trying to get on. They were trying to, but it just wasn't happening.
The ball wouldn't go out there.
Minute.
6 minutes later, and I think every time it went off, it was going off for a corner to the other team. So Arteta's like, "I'm not changing it on a set piece, mate. Sorry, boys, you got to stay there longer." But they got their they got their appearance bonus, so they'd be happy either way. That's probably an extra 5, 10, 15 grand for some of them, getting on the pitch for the last few minutes. So I'm sure they'd be happy. But let's talk about the manager before we go. I've got 5 minutes because I've got to go pick up my son from the cinema. But let's talk about Arteta because that's more important than picking up my son right now. Ozzy Guna, what are we scoring Arteta today?
This game?
Yeah, this game. We're going to get on to what's
9 out of
happened
10.
first half of the season soon, next in a week. But this game only, what are you scoring him?
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. Tactics were spot on. Second half team came out, looked different. Whatever was said in the locker room, it's hit home. The boys have come out different. He's picked a good side. I would have again questioned him on Zinchenko, but that's me. But apart from that, fielded a good side. The team was controlling possession. He's done everything he can possibly do as a manager. And then in the second half, he made sure they came out ready to rumble. So for me, it's 9 out of 10. He gets a 10 out of 10 if it was 3-0. If it was 3-0, 10 out of 10. He gets everything.
I hear that. What about you, Brenny? What are you giving him?
Ozzy, me and you on the same wavelength, man. Seriously, because I would have given given him a 10 as well if we'd have actually scored a couple of goals. It would have been perfect. So for me, it was 9 out of 10. The starting 11, same starting 11 versus Palace versus Leicester. It's been like that quite a lot this season, and the team, they know each other well. You know what I mean? And he got that right, and it was clean sheet away performance at a ground that, even though they're in the bottom three, it's never an easy place to go to.
Yeah,
never. I know we've won there twice in a row now at Molineux, but yeah, 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
No doubt.
definitely. And I'll match you. Look, I'll go a 9.
9.
What can you say? Do you know what I mean? Away game, clean sheet, scoring 2, controlled the game, got out of there unscathed again. It's just keeping their heads to say, this has just happened earlier. Man City have dropped points. To keep the focus, let's capitalize on it. Again, these are the things we never did it as well beforehand. So, yeah, for me, 9 out of 10. Yeah, what can I say? It feels good. We're going into Christmas top of the league, lads. It's been a long time coming. Do we finally have our Arsenal back? Is the process in full effect? What we got to do is now not rest on our laurels. Let's
all questions, all real important questions you're asking there, but
questions that need answering. And we're going to
they
get
need
onto that in
answering.
another stream, because I'm not done talking about Arsenal until Boxing Day. You're going to see a lot more of us. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more to come in the next few weeks, guys. Make sure we keep smashing the likes. Make sure we keep subscribing to the channel. It's a beautiful place to be at the moment. It's all happy. It's all smiles. We're going to enjoy the World Cup, knowing that whatever happens in that, we sit top. Let's just hope our Arsenal players come back fit and healthy, ready to take on the second half of the season. And I think these players will be buzzing to come back. Like, there's going to be an element. Yes, they're out there with the countries. They're loving it. Don't get me wrong. But there's going to be an element of them out there thinking, especially if one of them aren't playing or the football's not very nice, or do you know what I mean? They'll be thinking, gee, I just want to get back home because we're doing something special over there. Do you know what I mean?
We're doing bits.
Yeah,
We're tearing it up. Yeah.
And again, something to come and fight for. Not saying players want to down tools, but I could look at Neymar and Messi, and I'm saying the form these two are going into this World Cup in. I haven't seen this in a little while from them two. They picked up their standard knowing the World Cup's coming.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they're going to drop form after the World Cup, but some players might be coming back after. Everything now is to get into this World Cup squad, isn't it? Once you're in there, they might down tools come January. Tillemans, Maddison might think, we've got made the World Cup squad, done what I had to do. Might drop off 5-10%. Whereas I think the Arsenal boys coming back and looking, thinking, we've got a title challenge to push for. Do you know what I mean? That might be the difference in January, is when some players think, I don't want to overdo it, just come back from the World Cup or whatever it is. I believe our boys are going to come back strong and ready to go again. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's just hope and pray and enjoy. Let's enjoy. Any last words, Ozzy or Brenny?
Yeah, shame the Premier League's not next week now. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got the World Cup and everything else, and that's going to be, Premier League, mate. That's all I want right now.
Me too.
Who would have thought it? Normally we're begging for a little break,
I know our teams in the World Cup, but come on, man. It's like,
I hear you. Ozzy, anything you need
Honestly,
to add?
same thing, man. Same thing. Look, World Cup, it is what it is. Me, I'm a league man, and now that it's halfway through the season, the wrong time. At one stage, I was like, it's good that we've got this break because we're probably going to get injuries. Like, no, we got to keep going. But look, I mean, what can we do here? Like, we're going to take this break. Like you said, hopefully our players come back 100% and are looking forward to this title challenge. The World Cup couldn't have come at a worse time. Seriously.
Oh, 100%.
It couldn't have.
Yeah. Just in these two things quickly, Footmoss is saying MVP first half of the season, hard to pick now. Saliba, Jesus, Ødegaard, Xhaka, Saka, White, but maybe Saliba for whole. Quick
Good
one-word
problem to
answer.
have.
Who you going with? Who's been your player so far for the first 14 games?
Shit,
Aren't you,
that's
Brenny?
not easy. That's a hard question.
Yeah,
overall.
Because you got.
I know mine. Mine's simple.
So many.
I'll go first then. I'll go first. I'll go Partey.
I know who I'm going to go for. We'll go.
Mine's Partey. I think it's all stems from him. When he doesn't play, you see the difference. The only defeat came when he wasn't on the pitch. And I think he made everything around him tick. So for me, Partey is the most valuable player. Not saying he's the best player of the season. I think people have probably played higher scores more often, but he's the most valuable player by far.
Yeah. And
Brenny?
it's funny because I'm with you on that as well. I'm sure I said that to Bobby a few days ago. Yeah, I went with Partey.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
it's even when you hear Ramsdale Gafford said, give the ball into Partey. Like we need to up it a little bit more. Just give it into him and let's get going. Like he's got that Yaya Toure vibe about him. I know Yaya was more box to box and scoring goals, but it's something. There's an aura around Partey at the moment.
And and if you're talking top three, I went Partey, Saliba, Xhaka. That was my top three.
Ooh, you left Jesus out of there. Ooh, we're gonna get onto actually this. Also, you give me your MVP, and then we're gonna get into this in another show because
Jesus has been
people talk about Jesus hasn't brought a lot to this team, man.
Oh, he has.
I'm gonna let you go, Ozzy. I'm gonna let you go.
He
Ozzy.
has brought a lot. For me, look, I understand your push on Partey. I think he is important, but I think he's important for different reasons. I think because the drop off from Partey to El Neni is fucking massive. El Neni not being a bad player, but Partey brings so much more. I think he's a very important part of this team, but I think the most important part of this team in the middle of the park is a guy that I don't fucking like, but I'm going to say is Granit Xhaka. And the reason why I say Granit Xhaka is because, and no. The reason why I say Granit Xhaka is because if you watch this guy play, I'm always watching the number 8. You know what I mean? If I watch it, and he's a number 8, even though he's not that number. Defensively, he's back there doing a job. Middle of the park, he'll distribute. Up front, he's scoring goals. And then when shit hits the fans, everyone's looking towards him. When a goal is scored, he's the one commanding the team. Ødegaard might be the captain, but we all know who captain is. It's always, we've scored a goal. That's just one. Come on, that's only just one. That's only one. We got to go again. Come on, guys. So for not just his ability on the pitch, but he's commanding this team. And that's where I think the gap between Partey and Xhaka is minimal. But I say Xhaka because when you've got a young team, right, and you're down, or you get a bit jumpy, you need someone to come in and say, relax yourself, get in position, and to command that team. Ødegaard is not that guy. He isn't. Let's be honest. Xhaka is. We missed him in this game. You know, if it was in this game, this game would have been 3 all day. All day. I reckon it would have been 3. I reckon it would have been 3 all day. I reckon he probably would have gotten a score sheet.
He probably would have.
I've
got nothing against him. I think he has been good this year. I just feel his role, I think not any player could pick it up, but I just don't feel he's very dependent on Partey. I think if Partey's not there, his standard drops down, not because of his fault, but it's same as Ødegaard. When Partey's not playing, you see this, just the ball doesn't find them in certain areas, which means the whole dynamics change. So for me, it's the same thing we were saying earlier about the back line is allowing us to play higher up the pitch. Partey allows the others to be more expressive. And I don't think it's enough said about how important that is from Partey. But I do echo what you said. I think Xhaka has been instrumental this season. I'll be honest, he has been up there. And again, I think he's probably, if I go through the player ratings from the season and add up everyone's scores, I would say it's out of Xhaka and Saliba, who scored the highest over the 14 games. I think followed by Jesus. There's been games where Partey scored probably lower, like 7s, but I just feel it's still, he might have played badly, but it's still what he brings, what other teams, how teams respect us when Partey plays. I think that's the big word. When Partey doesn't play, it's full on man for man press. Come on and ask, what can you do? Get out of it. When Partey plays, it's hold on, we can't press you in there because he will turn us out. And now there's the overload. So that's, I think, the difference with Partey. But we could save that for another stream because I'm here to talk about it all the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever we got left. We need some content. So yeah,
we'll get some Chelsea fans on. We'll get some Tottenham fans on. We'll get any fan on, really. I mean, anyone wants to come and discuss us. We're happy to hear it.
Yeah. Definitely. But right, I've really got to go because my son is buzzing off my phone. Footmoss, big up yourself, guys. That was in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a great stream today. I really enjoyed it. Arteta and the boys, thank you so much for the 2022 you've given us so far. You've given us a great Christmas present, the best present any of us could ask for in a long, long time. Who thought this was coming?
Yep.
We're going to enjoy it. We're going to make the most of it. We're going to be shameless in our celebrations up to now. Christmas champions and all of that malarkey. And we look forward to the second half of the season. Guys who are going to the World Cup, enjoy it. Do not get injured. If it's a 50-50, pull out of it. Don't do nothing stupid. It's only your country. We don't matter about that. We all bleed red. We all bleed red.
Remember, it's about this. It's about this.
Who pays your wages? You think about that when you're going for them tackles. But no, I'm looking forward to the World Cup. And guys, I can't wait to jump on more streams with you. We'll definitely do some half season roundup shows. Get everyone's views on it. And again, it'll hopefully be a bit more intimate one-on-one conversations where you can really get off what you want to say. But for now, everyone at the Armoury TV, we're out of here.